Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to dive in.
Today we're tackling something I know a lot of you are interested in using technology to really boost your English learning.
It's amazing how much tech has changed the game.
Absolutely. And you guys sent in a clip from the English Dose podcast, which is jam-packed with cool tips.
Oh yeah, English Dose had some great stuff.
They were super enthusiastic about how much technology can help.
Rightfully so. I mean, there really are tons of tools out there now.
Yeah, like one thing that really stood out to me was the idea of using games to learn. Games. Sign me up.
That's what I thought too. Who doesn't love a good game? And it makes
Yeah.
so much sense, right?
Totally. So before we get to the games, English Dose was talking about how there are so many more options now than there used to be. Like, remember those old days of like textbooks and boring drills?
Yeah, I remember those days. Definitely not the most exciting way to learn.
I know, right?
Eh.
But now,
Now it's totally different. Smartphones and apps have just revolutionized everything. It's like having a whole world of language learning right in your pocket.
exactly. You can literally learn English on the go, anytime, anywhere. It's amazing. And English Dose mentioned some specific apps that a lot of people have probably heard of. Duolingo, Memrise, Babbel.
Yeah, those are some of the classic.
I've tried those out, and I have to admit, it is pretty motivating to, level up and earn those little virtual trophies. It kind of makes you want to keep going.
It totally does. That's the whole idea behind gamification. It's not just about making learning fun, although obviously that's a huge part of it.
Right.
But it's also about tapping into our natural psychology. When we achieve something in a game, even if it's a small thing, our brain releases dopamine, and that makes us feel good.
It's like a little reward system, basically.
Exactly. And that feeling of reward makes us want to keep playing, which means we keep learning. It's pretty clever, actually.
It is. It makes so much sense. Speaking of making learning fun, English Dose also talked about using YouTube for language learning, which I think is brilliant.
Oh, yeah. YouTube is a gold mine. So many possibilities there.
I know. I've always found that watching movies and TV shows with subtitles is super helpful. Like, even if you don't understand every single word, you're still getting exposed to the language.
Absolutely. And that's what English Dose was emphasizing, the power of immersion. It's like, even if you're not actively studying every word, just being surrounded by the language, hearing it, seeing it in context, it starts to sink in.
Like your brain is kind of absorbing it in the background.
Exactly. And that can be super powerful, like watching a British comedy, for example.
Or a Korean drama with English subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fun, low-pressure way to pick up new words and phrases.
Okay, so now for the part I've been waiting for the games. English Dose was talking about actual games, not just apps that have game-like elements. So what kind of games are we talking about here?
Think less about flashcards and more about adventure and problem solving. There are games specifically designed for language learners where the gameplay itself revolves around using English.
Oh, wow. So it's like the game forces you to use the language to progress.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's sneaky learning at its best. You're so focused on solving a mystery or completing a quest that you almost forget you're practicing grammar and vocabulary.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what kinds of games are out there? Like, what are some examples?
Well, there's a game called Influent, for instance, where you literally build sentences to interact with characters and complete tasks. Like, if you use the wrong verb tense, nope, your plan falls apart.
Oh, wow. That sounds intense, but also really effective.
It is. It gives you that instant feedback, which is so important for learning. You see the consequences of your language choices right away. There are also games that are more like social simulations.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, where you create a character and chat with other characters in the game, all in English, of course.
So it's like practicing real-life conversations in a safe virtual environment.
Exactly. It's a great way to build confidence and fluency.
It sounds like English Dose is saying that we don't have to settle for boring language learning anymore. We can actually have fun while we learn.
That's the key takeaway. Ditch the drills and embrace the games. And the best part is, with all these different tools available, you can totally personalize your learning experience.
That's what I love about it. You can find what works best for you.
Exactly. Love competition? Go for an app with leaderboards. More of a visual learner? YouTube is your best friend.
It's all about experimenting and finding what clicks.
Exactly.
So thinking about your own learning style, what sounds most appealing to you? What do you think would fit into your life and actually make learning fun? It's something to consider.
Remember, learning a language is a journey. And like any good journey, it's a lot more enjoyable with the right tools and a sense of adventure. So go explore, find your path, and most importantly, have fun with it.
That's great advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And thanks to English Dose for the awesome tips. We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.